Now, the last few paragraphs are essentially talking about one thing that I know a lot of us will love when they get to it, and that's new
Mm.
character models,
Ah, yes,
along with other things they did not mention. But
for
they want
sure.
to improve graphics and stuff, but the main thing they're saying is like new character models. Yes, with new
Mm.
character models, I'm assuming, although the last time I was assuming that new character models meant, because this is the second or third time that they would do uh, character models.
Hey, Zandog.
How are you doing, Zandog? Uh, thank you. The character models before, when they released, let's say, the ones that we kind of have now, I thought, okay, new character models, this is great. We're going to get animations and contextual stuff into the game. And that didn't happen at the start. It's a lot better these days. But when it started, it was just like we got new character models. They were better than the old ones, but they kind of introduced the animations over time. And
They
you'll
were
notice
they
that
were
we
much better
didn't.
than the old ones.
Yeah. Like the old ones had weird, some small animations that didn't really work.
And the old
Um,
ones felt like, Playmobil characters or something, very
yeah.
what
What's
the heck?
charm though? I
It
miss the charm of
did,
those old.
but everybody looked exactly the same, no armor that you put on displayed or even, just everybody's standing on horses like, man, those just had to go. Those things just had to go.
Yeah, I mean, there were things that didn't come with it, but what I mean this time is that when they're saying new avatars or new characters, I would like he's basically he goes on and says, we're gonna improve the way that the characters look, like their appearance and better,
Mm,
skin color or whatever, better way that they
right,
look and a new.
right.
But to me, I would have focused on like I don't care if we get a few more customizations on or how colors of our eyes or something, but
Mm,
wouldn't it be more of them to say we're going to introduce new characters and those characters are going to have a much more natural animations that come with them and be able to flesh out all of the different animation things that you can do in the whole game.
right.
Because right
I
now, there's a lot of
totally
times you do something, and all you're doing is doing this with your hands, which is like the
right. Like
general animation.
yeah, you're squishing stuff together, or screwing in the light bulb. I don't know.
So it would almost be like the new characters, which would hopefully be a lot better dimensions and more modern, let's say, character, which would be awesome. Um,
What about the ability to make yourself tall and big and or short and like to change your body proportions? You think they should do
I
that?
think that that would be cool. I don't know if the
It'll
amount
add more
of work
variety in
would,
how people look in this game.
yeah, I don't know if the amount of work would translate to like anything
Right. Uh,
substantial
right. I
because
see
that's
what you're
it's a
saying.
lot
Like,
of work to use
is it
to all of the art, all of the things that you put on your body, all of the clothing, all of the armor, all of the everything would have to be
right?
proportioned properly on every
Right.
size that they
Right.
decide.
Yeah, that's true. I know other games have successfully solved that
You could
problem
do
though,
it.
and maybe it's a
Yeah,
matter of like just seeing how it's done and then implementing. I don't know how hard it is to implement it. I know that there's definitely challenges, but it's not out of the realm of possibility because you look at a game
you're
like Sea of
talking
Thieves, which
like wish, like what's on our wish
wish,
list
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
the avatars. Yeah, all
yeah.
sorts of different kinds of body types and heights and weights and ages and then you're talking about just not just the avatar. He hasn't actually said it, but then you're talking about newer armor types because the armor is basically what our characters look like, right? They would have to
Right.
change the armor to fit the new avatars, and then you're talking about uh, making all of that brand
But
new.
do they have to switch because like for example, there's
Yes.
two different body types already in the game, like a male and female body type, and yet they put on the studded leather, and the studded leather will go on the female body type just fine, and the male. Like, did they have to program those separately, or can they just like come up with a new armor type and just say, "I want that on the female model," and it'll automatically wrap around the female model properly? Like, I don't feel
I
like
mean,
they'd
there was
have to
some work that had to go into that, but yeah, I mean, they could do
maybe.
that. It's probably a lot why the armor kind of looks not quite
Right, so Katz is saying that as long as the differences aren't huge, that the
right.
wrapping
It would
around the
just
models shouldn't be
stretch
too bad. It would
the
stretch it in a
texture would
certain
just
way,
go over it, right? It would just
which it
stretch
already
it out,
does as
whatever
it
it is.
is, right? Like, doesn't it already do that? It
Now the
stretches.
question is, like, how different would the new characters be? And is it
Right,
different
like
to the point where the armor that we have just kind of looks funky or funny? There might need to be some tweaks. I don't know.
I feel like
Uh,
they shouldn't make it so drastic. They should keep things realistic, like a short person versus a tall person and not go to the extremes of what's possible in humanity, for example. They don't need to make it like a person could be a massive giant versus like another person who could be a halfling size. They don't need to go to that extreme.
sure. I mean,
Um,
I've played
you're sure
games
it should be in the game.
where they've had problems. Like one thing, the biggest problem that I think games have is the introduction of how helmets work
Because of
because
hair
of the
and stuff.
hair and
Yeah.
depending on whether you're going to do head size and stuff.
I mean, I almost feel like in
Because
this
then it
game
limits
they
the
solve
types
that.
of helmets you can create.
Yeah, I feel like they solve that problem in this game simply by making when you put on a hat, you're literally replaces your hair. Like your hair goes away.
Yeah, your hair's gone.
Yeah. Except for I think if you're wearing like certain things like those forester hats or something like that, I think your hair still is I could be wrong, but
Yeah, they just have to think about those things. That's
yeah.
not important to me. Really, what's important is that we get these brand new character models and they look great. And then all we
Mm.
do is we put these old textured armor on.
Right. So it's actually saying the hair stays with those. And I remember when they first introduced it, like the new models, the hair didn't, right? So
Yeah.
a woman would put on a summer hat. Summer hat was the one back then because Forester hats wasn't in the game yet, but like a summer hat would go on and it would like literally make you bald and you could see it like all around the back of your head and it was like ugly. There was another one. Wasn't there another hat that was like a halo? What am I thinking? Do you remember that? It
I
was a
don't
very rare
remember.
item, but there's an item that you could put on your head and it made a halo. And yeah, you
Does
would go
anybody
completely
remember?
bald with halo over your head. I remember at our first Impelong, at Willow's Impelong, there was somebody. Okay, so the leather hat still removes hair.
Anyway, so new models would be great, but new models to me doesn't mean the way that we look because we're going to be wearing armor and, the armor might look a little different, but it's going to be the same texture. I'm
Right.
thinking it's more about the way we move, more
Right,
about
the
the way that
animations.
it's the animation part of
Totally.
the avatar
Totally.
that
Yeah.
that is really a good chunk of making these characters more believable.
Right,
And
like
that's what I'm hoping is
the way
included
we're
with that.
digging. See how we're digging and we're like digging almost like in the exact same way. It just looks so robotic and unbelievable that we're digging like this. Like, doesn't it? How we lift that foot and stamp it down every single time.
It's okay. I mean, this is not the worst of it,
Right,
right?
and this is
It's
actually one of the better ones, right?
yeah, and it's just if that all comes together, I think you know, like great. I really look forward to that. It's would be
Yeah,
such a big deal
yeah.
getting new animations into this game. And Pinkstry, you would love uh, Lord of the Rings Online system. Cosmetic slots that override armor visually would be a nice
Mm,
way to add more models. Now they actually did that in one of my favorite games, Vanguard,
They
Saga
did
of
it in
Heroes.
WoW
So
as
they,
well. They did it in WoW.
yeah, so they did that, and they introduced it, and then everybody put on their armor, and like I ended up being some looking like I was a little halfling guy,
Yeah.
and I made myself look like this ninja person.
Mm,
I put on this like
yeah.
robe, this like it's like black robe, and it was cool. The only problem, and I think the way that this game should go, I mean, because that's really cool to be able to have like uh, cosmetic slots for certain situations without being able to touch your armor. It's less important in this game because we're not combat focused. We don't need to be
Right.
wearing our armor all the time. In
So how
fact,
about instead
it's a
like a
detriment to wear your armor all the time.
right, because you walk slowly. But how about maybe like instead of just having an overlay that, a slot that's just vanity or cosmetic, make profiles of, you know, so you just at a click of a button, it switches to a different outfit.
I think we should have profiles in general. Yeah.
Like swapping out armor is actually quite cumbersome, especially since like I don't know if you've ever encountered this problem, but if you have, let's say, all your armor in your inventory and you go to try to like highlight them all and equip, it's like
Yeah.
only some of them get equipped at a time.
Yeah, you
Do,
have to
do you know what I'm
drag it
talking about? You have to drag it.
into the window
Right, but even if
over
you
your avatar.
hold on,
Just drag
does
all
that
of
does that
them
work?
into.
I
Yes.
grab them all and highlight. Oh yeah, yeah, I see.
Yeah,
So
that's what
why
I
don't
do.
why? So why doesn't right clicking and equipping do that? Like if
Yeah,
you
it
highlight
doesn't.
them
It
all in your
uses your
inventory
queue.
and you
It uses
wh-
your queue.
oh, it uses your queue. So
Yeah.
why? Why does that use your queue?
I don't know. They could just make it so it doesn't. That'd be good.
Ah, yes, Stefan. But like that uses your queue, but just dragging it over doesn't. That's so dumb.
Yeah, that's why
I,
Tuxie, yeah. If you have
uh,
7 or 8, queue slots unlock, then you got no problem. Think of it like a
right.
feature to unlock. No, that's yeah, it's kind of
uh,
they should fix that.
but profiles would be great. Like just
Now,
like different
what I
outfits
what I
that
was more saying that yes, different outfits, profiles, great.
yeah.
Uh, but what they really need to do is, and I've talked about this a lot in the past,
Mhm.
is just to make it different outfits for the different professions that we can do in this game.
Ah,
Why do we only
yes.
have armor? Why is armor the focus when most of the focus of this game that we do has nothing to
It's
do with hunting or combat?
combat. Right, right.
Why are we blacksmithing
That's true.
with, like, does a blacksmith wear full studded armor, slash, or plate armor, or chain? And though they make plate and chain, but they don't wear plate and chain. They had a blacksmith
Right.
make them look like a blacksmith in this game. Have blacksmith garb that we can create,
Mm.
and so forth. Um, in fact, Vanguard actually did that. They had different garb for the different professions that you would do.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
as an example, we don't think of that in Worm because we don't have it. But wouldn't that make so much sense to have gear that we would need that would help us in our profession?